to my computer. Okay, we are on and I'm admitting everybody. Hey, everyone. Hi there. I know some of you are still connecting to your audio. No, we got a few more people coming in. All right, well, we're going to get started, and I'll be watching the waiting room to let more people in. So I am Kathy Matson. I am the Assistant Director of Student Life, and I'd like to welcome you to this workshop this afternoon for non-traditional students. I myself was a non-traditional student at the Mount 2012 to 2014. Then went on for a bachelor's, and I actually just finished my master's in January. So I'm proof that it can be done. It's not always easy, but it can be done. And today's presenter is Missy Sargent. She is the Assistant Dean of Academic Affairs, and she also did that same route that I did, just a little time before me. So anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Missy. If you have questions, you can always add them to the chat room, and we're actually going to be doing just some open discussion after Missy presents and answering any questions you have. Okay.
Hello, everybody. And hello, Sabine. I think you're a new person. Nice to meet you. I'm going to just start out with a little video. I did this because I'm always afraid something's going to pop up and I'm going to forget something. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Now we're going to get this started. Let's see, full screen. I want to welcome everyone here today. My name is Missy Sargent, and I am the Assistant Dean of Academic Affairs here at Mount Wachusett Community College. But my role here today is as a former MWCC non-traditional student. I'm here to talk to you about finding a successful school-life balance, because we all know life can be a bumpy ride all by itself, never mind adding school on top of it. In fact, let's take a quick peek at my road to education. I won't bore you by reading all the individual details of my journey, but as you can tell, there were quite a few bumps in the road, or as we say, life happened. And I won't lie, it wasn't easy at times, and there were times I didn't think I could do it. But I want you to focus on that last bullet on the bottom. Yes, it took me 8 years, but I got there. Well, it took me another 13 years for that bachelor's degree, and I stuck it out for another 2 to complete the master's. Just remember that every course you take is a step in the right direction. We have a lot of people here at MWCC who are here to help you if things get rough. So, what do we know about non-traditional students? First, you have a lot to offer. You're coming with real life experience, and you bring that into the classroom, and that enhances the classroom. You're very optimistic. You participate more in class, and you're less afraid of peer criticism than traditional students, meaning that we tend to be a little bit more vocal in the classroom. And you have better coping skills than traditional students because you've been through more. But we also know that some of you don't feel like you belong. You're more likely to become an at-risk student because you have more going on in your life that can interrupt your education. You tend to be stressed out, whether that's financial or work or kids, and you don't spend as much time on campus as traditional students because you have other responsibilities. Again, could be work, could be picking up your kids from school, could be taking care of your parents. So how do we find this school life balance? Especially during these times when we're trying to balance not only our own schedules, but our kids' schedules. And I'll be absolutely honest, I am so glad I don't have kids in school right now. I could barely get my kids to do their homework, never mind trying to do any type of homeschooling. Well, part of the answer is planning. Yes, planning takes time, but in the long run, it will save you so much additional stress. Plan out your space. You may not have a ton of space in your home, but make a spot that is yours. You want it to be comfortable, but not too comfortable. Setting yourself up correctly can help reduce physical stress on your body, and it can also put you in the correct frame of mind that it is time for schoolwork. Schedule your time. I know this can be very difficult when everyone else is depending on you for something, but this is an investment in yourself. Determine when school time is and block it off the calendar to make it real. My school time was 5:30 in the morning. Have a family meeting to explain that you're going to need time to yourself, especially to your kids. Have the conversation before you start school so that you can remind them when they forget, because you know they're going to forget. Try to limit your distractions. When working on your computer, wear noise-canceling headphones if possible, and keep other applications closed. You know why. Technology is a wonderful thing when it's working correctly. Be prepared. Please back up your work and don't procrastinate until the last minute. I cannot tell you how many frantic student calls I get a semester when technology isn't cooperating. Ask questions. I've heard many students say, I didn't understand what the teacher was talking about, but I didn't want to sound stupid asking a question. You are paying for the right to ask questions. It's how we learn. And if I could only give you one piece of advice, it's this. Communicate. Communicate with your faculty, with your dean, with your advisor, with student services. Be smart enough to know when you need help and brave enough to ask for it. I cannot tell you how many students have an issue arise and just walk away. Many were passing their classes, but something at home or work comes up and they disappear, leaving in its place a semester of failing grades. Thing is, I also cannot tell you how many students came to us and we were able to work through the issues and they successfully completed the semester. We can't help you if you don't communicate with us, but we're here for you. In fact, if you have attended some of the other sessions, I'm sure you have already heard about some of our great services that are available to help you. If you missed them, this webpage is a great place to start. Okay, and we're back live. So those are just some of the things that were important to me, and some of the things I deal with on a daily basis, dealing with students coming in and being frantic. We're all in kind of a new situation right now. So one thing I really want to ask everybody is this semester, please be patient. You have instructors that are also going to be going through a little bit of a panic as they're learning this new technology and getting into teaching. Some are pros, some have been teaching like online for years. Some of them, this is going to be their first time. So remember that teachers are humans as well. They have things going on at home too. We're all human beings going through this trip called education. And just always remember, anytime I get really stressed out, I keep saying, nobody has died. Nobody is going to die from this. We can get through almost anything. But just try to be patient and kind to everybody around you, including yourself. Give yourself a break once in a while. So I'm going to ask a few scenario questions and we'll see if anybody answers. No pressure on anybody here. What's the first thing you should do in every course? When you get in your course, whether it's online or in person, what's the first thing? Does anyone want to take a stab at it? I'm looking for the chat room here to see. Here we go. Yes, Marcia, read your syllabus. That is exactly correct. Read your syllabus to make sure that this course is for you. I've had a course where I've dropped out after reading a syllabus. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I read it and I went, there is no way that I am going to be able to accomplish this with everything else I'm doing. You have to know your own limitations, but also make sure that you understand it as well. We have students that come in mid-semester and say, you know, I don't agree with this on my syllabus. And it's like mid-semester at that point. And there's really nothing we can do about that, because by staying in the class, pass, drop, add, basically what you're doing is it's a contract. That syllabus is the contract between you and the instructor. They're telling you what is going to be expected of you. And in turn, you staying in the class saying, yep, that's what I'm going to do. Sometimes you're not going to see eye to eye with your instructors, your faculty members. Just remember that this is an adult situation. This isn't like school when you have kids in school and you go to the school teacher and you say, I want you to change the grade because of this or that and the other thing. Faculty have academic freedom, which means they have the choice of how they're going to give this information to you, how they're going to grade you, what they're going to expect of you, okay? I can't change anything. You could come to me and say, I don't agree with this. There is nothing that I can do about it. There is nothing that your dean can do about it, unless there's something really wrong with it. Say, for example, it's discriminatory, or you find something that way. But if you felt you should get a B and they gave you a B minus, you can't come to me and I can't say, you have to change their grade. That's not how college works here. I find that mostly it's the younger students that tend to think that way, not us non-traditional students. We're used to having to deal with life and all of that. If you are planning on transferring to another college, and you might say, nah, I might not do that. I might do that later. Please, whatever you do, keep your syllabi, especially now that you're probably going to get a lot of them electronically. Because if you're going to another school, they may say, I need to see your syllabus from that class. Now, what if you took that class 10 years ago? Do you still have that hanging around most of the time? No. So I like to tell people straight out to keep their syllabi until the end of time, just in case. Because if you come back and that teacher isn't here anymore, sometimes it's difficult to find syllabi from back then to give to you. And it's also their property, it's intellectual property. So technically speaking, I'm supposed to have their permission to give you a copy of the syllabus. So if you just keep it, that strays away from any problems that way. How many people think they're going to be transferring? Anyone know how to use their, okay. Yeah, you could just raise your hands if you're on it, if you want to put it in the chat, whatever. Good. Here's another scenario. You have a paper that's due at the end of October, and you see that in September. How do you approach that paper? What are we going to do? I just want to know, you can put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand, and I think Kathy can unmute you if you want to join in. But there are different ways to approach how we're going to do papers, right? Anyone? No? Okay. Well, are we going to wait till the last minute? The answer is no. Everyone's looking at me like, I don't know. Are we going to wait? No. No, we're not going to wait till the last minute. In fact, I really recommend that you do some kind of planning when you get your syllabi. Okay, so if you're in one class, you're going through your syllabus, you've got dates, you've got what things are going to be due. You have calendars. It can be the calendar that you get from school. It can be your home calendar. It can be your email calendar. It can be your phone calendar. Don't just kind of fly by the seat of your pants through. Start putting things on your calendar so that you know when things are due, and then back up the amount of time that you think you're going to need to start to work on it, or at least give yourself reminders. Sometimes you might find that things are all going to be due around the same time. And if you haven't planned for that, you're going to be spending a lot of time in front of the computer, probably stressing out, thinking, how am I going to get all of this done at once when everything's due at the same time? If you see that, then you can plan for that so that you can then start working a little bit here and there, start working early in the morning on things, start working at night, so that everything isn't going to be on you at the same time. Say you're stressed out and all of this is happening, everything's due at the same time, and you feel like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. What are you going to do? Anyone? Put it in the chat. Got a talkative group here. Reach out to the professor ASAP. Thank you, Elizabeth. Exactly. You want to make sure that your teachers know what are going on with you. And you know what? They know that you are human. Now, I can't speak for every professor. You might hear some go, well, you should have thought about that, whatever. But there are also a ton of professors that'll say, okay, let's talk about where you're at with it, and they'll work with you, because we're adults. We're not going to just not deal with things like we did with kids. If I close my eyes and ignore it, it will go away. It will not go away, and it will just get worse. Just talk to people. If you feel like you're stressed out and you don't want to talk to the professor, reach out to student services and talk to them a little bit about what's going on. They might have suggestions for you on ways to manage this. We have counseling available, all kinds of things available to help you, because it's our job mostly to keep you in school. That's what everybody else that's not there teaching you, actually even the teachers, that's what we're there for, is to keep you in school and make sure you succeed. If you don't succeed, we don't succeed. All right, how about your tools? How many people have already gone online and looked at iConnect and Blackboard? Everyone's somewhat familiar with that. Okay. I do recommend, if you haven't, that you learn your tools before you're in the midst of everything. Go online, play around with it, make sure you understand how to get your email. Make sure you get in the habit of checking your email all the time, because that's how we communicate with you. Say, for example, we have something going on. There's a change in your class, and we have to get that information to you. We'll send you an email on that. If you're not checking your Mount Wachusett email, you're not going to get the information. Let's see. You're working on your computer, and you get this big error message. Okay, so you're online. And let's say you're using Internet Explorer. What are you going to do? Panic. I'm going to panic. No panicking. One thing I recommend is that you have multiple browsers on your computer. I have Google Chrome, I have Firefox, and I have Internet Explorer. When one doesn't work, hop to the other one. These things are all glitchy, and unfortunately, your computers at home may not necessarily be set up in the exact same way as our computers. And so it could be something on your computer that we can't fix on our end. So always try another browser first. And if you get some kind of error message, does everyone know how to do a print screen? On your computer, in the very top row on mine, so I'm looking at my function keys right now. There's F1, F2, all the way across. I see something that's PRTSCR, print screen. What that does is it takes a screenshot of what is on your screen at that time, and it puts it on your clipboard so that you can paste it. So you're just going to do like a copy paste, but you're just going to do the paste it and put it in your email. The great part about that tool, that's just a little hint, is that I had an error message that was about this long one day. I could take a piece of paper and try to write down that whole error message, or I can do a screenshot of it and send it to help desk and say, I don't know what's going on with this. When they can see it, they can usually figure out what's going on quickly. It's when you don't give them enough information. Let's see, Elizabeth, try something else. Some laptops require 2 keys to use print screen. Thank you. So if you're not sure, that's something to try out beforehand. I've had people take pictures with their phones too. Whatever gets the job done. But my point of it is, the more information, if you're having a computer problem, the more information you can get to help desk for them to be able to try to help you, the better off you'll be. If you say, I have an error message, they're going to be like, okay, let's start from the very beginning. What are you doing? What are you working on? What were you doing before that? So always try to give them the most information that you can to troubleshoot. We know that this semester technology is going to be bigger than ever before for our classes. So we want to make sure to give you the tools available to help you in case technology doesn't feel like playing nice that day. But don't panic. That's the biggest thing. Just don't panic. What are you going to do if you sent your paper to your instructor and they said they didn't receive it? Anyone? All right. Excuse me.
Panic.
Panic. Mike's going to panic. No. You're going to have a backup copy of that paper, right? Obviously, you're going to keep a backup copy. We don't ever just send it and make it go away and then not have the backup copy. Also, make sure when you're sending in your paper to your faculty member that you're following their directions. I can't tell you how many people said, I keep emailing my paper to the instructor and they keep saying they're not getting it. Well, come to find out, in Blackboard, that teacher said, please use the Dropbox to submit your paper. Meaning they don't want you to email it to them. They want you to use the Dropbox. So say, for example, you don't know how to use the Dropbox. You ask that question to the teacher ahead of time, not the night it's due. Because I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but they actually aren't connected to the computer 24/7. They might be doing other things as well. So make sure that when you're submitting any work to your teacher via online, that you follow their directions. Make sure you read the directions and make sure you understand it. Because technically speaking, until you follow the directions that they're telling you to do, you haven't actually submitted your paper. Let's see. You're starting to take a test online and your power goes out. And now the power's back on, you reconnect, the test is closed. You can't get back to it. What are you gonna do? This one I get all the time. I'm on my computer and I can't get back in. Okay, did you contact your teacher? We at the college have no way to reset tests in Blackboard, just so you know. The only person that can fix that is your teacher. So you are going to want to not wait until tomorrow, not wait 2 days later. As soon as you have connection back, you want to send an email to that instructor to say, please note my power went out. And as such, I was in the middle of my test. I was not able to complete it. It happens, okay? Don't panic, but don't wait and say, well, I'll call him and let him know later. Let him know immediately when it happens, but understand that it does take time to get back to the teacher sometimes. So don't panic. When they see what time you started the test, they'll be able to see when you started it and what time you sent that email. They're gonna know it happened, okay? If you wait a week later, they have nothing to go by. They'll probably still believe you and they'll probably still reset it. But for the best way of doing it, I suggest sending them a notice right away. Don't wait. All right, let's see. We'll give you another couple other scenarios. We won't keep you too long here. What happens if all of a sudden you're hospitalized? What are you gonna do? Well, if you're conscious, right? Hopefully, you're not so bad off or sick that you can't contact the school. You can contact the professor. That's right, Marcia. I suggest a couple things. I suggest sending notices to the instructor, but I also suggest letting student services know. Reach out to student services, to Jason Zaleski's office or Sabine. Now that you're in Leominster, we can have you contact Sabine and let them know what's going on. That way, if for some reason you weren't able to connect with the instructor, they can also help in reaching out. This happens every semester. Now, here's a tricky one. What happens if you're hospitalized and you're not conscious? What do you think would happen? Do you have family members that know that you're going to school? Friends? Exactly, Elizabeth. Have a family member contact student services. Don't worry about them reaching out to every individual professor that you have in this particular case. The biggest thing here is just make sure somebody that you know is your confidant and can contact the school and let us know what's going on. We like to stay connected, and I've seen it happen. Somebody got in a car accident. They weren't able to to contact us. Their parents contacted the school, or I think it was a friend contacted the school and let us know. We reached out to the instructors and they worked with the student to get through it so that they were able to finish the semester. The biggest thing is if you don't contact us and let us know what's going on, and then let us know 2 months later that that happened, that's kind of a little bit too late. Our biggest thing is we want to make it so that all the work that you've already done up to that point doesn't go to waste, right? You put in a lot of work. We want to try to get you through the semester, no matter what is going on in your life. What about if you wake up and your computer won't turn on? Do we have backup plans for computers? Everyone should know that we do have computers at the college. And we are going to be setting them up, you know, for some student use. We know that not every student has a computer at home. That's just the way it is. Always make sure that you have some kind of backup plan so that if you're not able to use the computer that you're sitting in front of right now, that you have someplace else you can go, a family member's house, something. But that also means, remember, I know some people that set up their computers so that their computer knows all their passwords and then they don't remember them. Make sure you have your information so that you can bring it someplace else and log in on that. Okay, so that's just a few scenarios. Do you see what I'm trying to do? Is I'm just trying to explain that we know that life happens, especially with non-traditional students. As you saw from my video, yes, 8 years for the associate's degree, 13 for the bachelor's. I'm hoping you don't take that path. Hopefully you can get through a little faster. But I had things like a divorce, a baby, everything, you know, everything gets in the way sometimes when you're trying to progress through. Just keep with it. Keep connecting with us. Make sure, let us know what's going on. And try to make sure to pre-plan everything. Plan out for your semester. Plan with your syllabus. Plan with your family to let them know what's going on. Plan your surroundings on how you're going to do your work. And make sure that you give yourself that time. I used to do it with kids running around and everything. And I found that that was when I was stressed out. So I used to get up earlier. Sometimes you got to substitute that sleep for that work, unfortunately. Do you guys have any questions for us? So not just me, Kathy, Sabine's here. Anybody have any questions? Anything I didn't touch upon?
Yeah, Missy, can I ask a question?
Absolutely, Mike, go ahead.
Hi, where are you at? What department are you in?
I am the Assistant Dean of Academic Affairs.
Okay,
So as of right now, I'm not there. I'm home.
okay, good for you.
So that's actually, while you say that, you know, they said, work at home, it'll be great. Well, it is in some ways, but I miss going to the school. That's something that I'm glad you brought up. Whereas you used to be able to just walk into all the offices, that is not going to be the same option. This is that planning thing again that we're going through. Although people may be in the offices, you may have to make appointments to talk to people because we have to control the number of people going into each area. Okay, so get to know your email. Kathy, did you want to add anything to that?
I was just going to mention yesterday I was doing my workshop on involvement in student life, and Jason Zaleski, the dean, was moderating, and he had to correct something I said because I said, oh yeah, just stop by and ask me. And he's like, no, Kathy means just send her an email because I'm so used to having a line of students out my office door. So that's hard for me. Like I'm on campus Mondays and Tuesdays only. And I'm not supposed to have students in just, you know, just to drop by. It's by appointment only. So yeah, that is something that you definitely, you want to be thinking about when you need to contact somebody. I mean, you know, most of us are available during the normal working hours when we're home. I know I have my phone set up so that people can call my, my cell phone, but it's not actually my cell number. But I actually started getting calls like that today, and I was like, oh, I wasn't sure who the calls were from. And then I realized what they were, that they were students calling me. So now I know how to answer those. But yeah, it's a learning curve for all of us too. But yeah, email is the best way to get in touch with anybody right now on campus. And I know most of us are more glued to our email than normal. Mine's on my phone. As I told students yesterday, I check mine all the time. If you don't hear back from me when you email me, it's usually because I need to look into the answer to your question. It's not a quick yes or no, or, you know, I don't know the answer right off the top of my head. So, but yeah, I'm connected to my email. Sometimes I have to purposely shut it off.
Yeah, I think 8:30 the other night when my husband came by and said, do you plan on detaching from that computer today? Or I will say it's hard for all of us in the offices not to have students and faculty be able to bounce in and bounce out. That's part of the fun of working at a college. And I work mostly with faculty more than students. I do this just because I was a non-traditional Mount student and I love, you know, telling my story and how I was able to get through it and figuring if I could get through it with all that time, you know, I like to convince others that they can get through it as well. But for faculty are used to bouncing into the offices and we're having to tell them the same thing. You can't just stop by. Hopefully this will go away eventually and we can go back and resume to our normal fun college experience. But for now, it is a learning curve for everybody.
Where do we find the email addresses?
Good question. So there is a directory, I believe, online.
Oh,
If you go to the website, and I will put it this way. If you have one person's email at the college, then you have everybody's email because you can say, can you give me the emails for? In fact, Mike, I'll give you my email. How's that? I'm going to mark it down in the chat. Maybe I can do it. And I welcome any of you. If you need any information on emails, contact, anything, even if it has nothing to do with my job. And trust me, I get lots of those too. And that's kind of fun because I learn lots of
where'd
things.
it go?
What's that?
I'm sorry, where'd your address go?
It's in the chat. Do you know how to hit chat?
Yeah, I know the chat down there. Just click on that. Thank you.
I just added mine.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay, those.
I'm a very non-traditional student.
That's okay, Mike. We're here for you.
Yeah. So I put
I
mine
am here for you. Now I know Mike's name, so I'll know Mike's name if it comes across my email.
Right. I put mine in there also for people. I oversee all the groups and clubs on campus, and something that as a non-traditional student, now I don't know if Missy was involved as a non-traditional student, but I was very involved as a non-traditional student, which is the reason I'm actually working at the Mount today. I came in and I ended up joining the student government right away and graduated as the student government president. And if you had told me when I started in 2012 that I was going to work here someday and that I was actually going to have a master's in higher education administration, I would have said, no, you're talking to the wrong person. So life changes sometimes. I didn't think I was even going to transfer for a bachelor's, but getting involved really also makes a difference. I know you all have lives outside of school and you're very busy, but sometimes getting involved really helps you stay connected to the school, helps you build more friends on campus. You're going to connect with more students that maybe you can work together with in study groups, whether it be somebody that's just in a class that you're within or in your particular major. So getting involved really does help if you have the time.
Definitely. So this is my 28th year at the college. I've been working at the college for 28 years. I started when I was 4. I didn't really. I started when I was 21. And I started as the lowest level position I think they had at the time, which was like a clerk 1. I think it was a clerk 1 with no degree. So I actually did it a little bit backwards. I got my job and then I started going to school and I said, hey, I really like this job. So I also got the master's in adult and higher ed administration. It's funny how things that you don't think that are going to affect you. And I think I changed my major about 5 times when I was at the college. So that's okay too. If you are plugging along and you find that what you're studying isn't what you thought it was, that does happen. Make sure to reach out to people and talk to them about maybe changing your major, figure out what else you want to do. Don't just walk away and say, well, that's not for me. There's other options out there. Any other questions? So what are the majors out there? What are you going to do, Mike? What's your major?
Well, it's kind of a long story. I'm already an RN, but I graduated 25 years ago and I haven't worked in 10. So I'm trying to refresh my memory. I'm just taking one course in allied health.
It's never just one course. You're taking a course.
A course. Yeah, you're right.
It's never just because you got, a course is a course is a course. I took several semesters. I took one course or I'd take 2 courses. It was very rare I took more than that. So,
It's going to be an effort.
but it'll go by. You'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Elizabeth's taking natural resources. Good, Elizabeth. All right. Anybody else? Marcia? I'm going to put her on the spot, even though she's not really live in front of me. LAX? From Catherine and medical assistant. Nice. Got a nice crew here. All right. Are there any other questions about processes? Everybody knows the academic calendar. If you ever want to drop a class, you want to make sure to try to drop it within that first week so that you can get your refund and get into something else instead. Registration's on there. Holidays are on there. How many people, are there any people that have a class that's actually on campus this semester? You do, Elizabeth? All right. 2 labs. Yep. No class for Daniel online. I was an online student for the majority of my time. So I actually started online classes. You ready for this? At Mount Wachusett in 1996. 1996. We didn't have Blackboard back then. We used Lotus Notes. And it wasn't made for online classes. So be thankful you have something so nice as Blackboard. Blackboard is really fantastic. In fact, I just took a course on how to build classes because I'm going to build a class for faculty to take. See, you never stop learning. That's the thing, lifelong learners.
I actually did all of my degrees completely online. I took for my associates, I took 1 class in person. But even though I was doing all classes online at the Mount, I literally lived there because I was so involved with student life and student government that I spent all my time on campus anyways. But then my bachelor's was completely online and my master's was completely online. So It can be done.
Yep. Bachelor's and master's online as well. So you got some geeks in the room, Mike. So if you're really struggling technology wise, you know where to find me.
Yeah. Myself. Yes, I do. Where do I find the academic calendar?
You would want to go to the website.
Yeah. Oh, there's a website, academic.
We have, if you just go to mwcc.edu.
Right.
There is a, under academics, I believe. I'm trying to think. I'm not in front of it right now.
Yeah, it's under academics.
Academics.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking. It's not on iConnect, huh, Kathy? There's no link on iConnect?
I don't know, to say the truth. Those of you that have seen me touting the new Involve Mount platform, which is for student engagement, for all of the clubs and events, there is a link on there also, but you have to, if you register for that. So yeah, under academics and continuing ed, it's the academic calendar is right there. It's a drop down.
And click on it. It tells you when classes start, when classes end, when drop add is done, when you're going to register for next time. My biggest thing, the reason I was asking if anyone had any on-campus classes is there's something that confuses a couple people every semester. And I just like to explain that. When we talk about a semester, when you look at semester dates, you're looking at the very beginning of a semester and you're looking at the very end of a semester. You're not necessarily looking at your start date. So it always happens, we'll be starting the semester on a Wednesday and a Thursday person will come in the college and say, I'm looking for my class because the date said Wednesday. So when we're talking semesters, we start September 9th and the semester ends December 23rd. Your class starts whenever that first day is for you. So if you're a Thursday class, you'll start the first Thursday after the semester starts. But a lot of people are going to be online now, so they're going to be like, I'm not going anywhere. Does anyone have any live online classes this semester? This is something a little bit new this semester. The majority of our classes online are what they call asynchronous, meaning you can log on at 4 in the morning, you can log on at 3 in the afternoon and do your work. There are a few classes where the teacher is actually going to go online live like we're doing now and teach live. So you'll want to make sure to check your schedule for that. You probably know because there'll be a date and a time listed there and it'll say online meeting on that. So just make sure that you understand your schedule. And if you have any questions, just reach out. Any other questions? Marcia, is your hair still purple?
Nope. I'm going all natural now, like Sabine.
Oh, missed it. My hair was rainbow at one point. It looked like
Uh,
fire. It was red, orange, and blonde on the bottom.
but no, I am missing my purple.
I like purple.
Yeah, that's my favorite color.
How about you, Mike? You can go purple? I got him laughing. All right. I don't want to keep you guys any longer than necessary. I just want to make sure I've answered all your questions, and Kathy and Sabine and anyone?
No, thank you.
I had a peekaboo color of pink, purple, and blue. Woo! Peekaboo. Is that the, what do they call that? I'm trying to think. Oh, underneath. You had it underneath. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Please, please feel free to reach out though if you have any questions. I know that this semester we are in a really weird kind of situation right now. So don't hesitate. Even if you feel like, oh my God, this seems like a stupid question, don't hesitate to reach out. And hopefully I'll see all of you in person someday. You too, Kathy. I haven't been back to my office since March. So good luck, everybody. Enjoy your time at the school. Reach out. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Nice to meet you, Sabine.